come on before the puppy gets through her treat and we have to deal with her. Yeah.
Jump up
on the table. She has jumped up on the table in the podcast. Don't. It's like, yeah. Okay. So welcome to the Laura and Benny show. We've got hello. Hello, how's it going?
DJ Benny's back in the house with his bling.
Don't have DJ Benny.
Doing weddings next year.
Can you please explain to him that he's too old for this type of like carry on and that he's sure
Are you this type of DJ?
I like the shirt, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of it's like my summer kind of holiday shirt. I don't know when I pull it off at a wedding, maybe a drinks reception outside. I think kind of,
do you not walk in like the Bermuda shorts and kind of Hawaiian stuff and kind of like rock in and go, where do I set up there,
before
boys?
the two of you get into a full fashion discussion, this is Billy McGailey from BMG Sound. We went straight in, Billy. We didn't even get beyond the name.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to get in with Tommy Mottola, and apparently you had a big fight with Tommy Mottola over the name of your record company, you know, because like Sony, Tommy Mottola, party bands and all that, you know.
I think you should have stuck with BMG Records.
BMG Records went to court.
I sleep much better at night now. I'm not going to be sued and absolutely annihilated by some big corporate company. So yeah, we're good.
Okay, so you went with BMG Sound. I like it.
BMG Sound.
Yeah. It's handy now that you had the 3 letters though in the name. That worked.
There's a nice little ring to it, I must say. It works quite well. So,
yeah. So wedding DJ.
These are handmade chocolates that Billy brought in now. He spent all morning making them.
You made the box as well?
€8 on the local bar.
Brilliant.
Everyone needs
I was about to put them on the floor and I wanted that to dog.
It was a toss-up between them and Ferrero Rocher, but I've an awful unhealthy Ferrero Rocher habit.
Once it's opened, is it?
No, they're gone. Like, I will eat the whole box of them and it's not good for you. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for not doing that to us because we just got over Easter.
No, there was more with me than you. So.
Oh, selfish, but yeah, okay.
I wouldn't rather concentrate looking at them.
Oh, but wedding DJ. Let's try and bring this back. Wedding DJ.
So the wedding DJ thing, I've been kind of branding myself as a wedding DJ, but you know, it's kind of like when you say you're a wedding DJ, people look at you like, oh God, you know, what's going on here? So I've kind of stripped it back a little bit to kind of DJ because people were kind of taking me up wrong, I think, because as a wedding DJ in Ireland, there's a kind of a certain kind of style and type that's been there for a while.
There's a stigma to it. I think it was the same with the singers. I mean, Fiona was saying that like she's
very funny you said that. The singer said the same.
In her own right, she's an independent artist, writes songs, does the whole shebang.
Independent artist.
You know,
yes,
there you go.
That's what we can call you, BMG Independent Artist.
There you go.
But you're like 10 years in the hole, like you didn't just fall off a train, like you're like, we were chatting last night and we were getting headed into like techie stuff and really kind of going off the thing and like you know the insides out from experience.
I'm officially in it 10 years.
Okay.
12 years actually when I registered. I registered the business back in either 2011 or 2012, I think, I can't remember. I think it might have been 2011, so I'm a bit more.
Yeah.
But like, I've been playing music since I probably my nappies.
Don't give away your age. I was going to say, don't give away your age.
And by the way, that's like when I was 2 or 3, not like 15 or 16.
But you have a genuine passion and you were lucky enough that like kind of like you start building up and actually kind of followed your passion and kind of into sound and DJ.
Yeah. My background is retail management, so I got into retail like from a very young age. I got like my leaving cert, which was okay.
Don't have to tell us the points.
No, I'm not going to tell you points. It's disappointing. But I got my college course anyway for business in Tralee IT, and I deferred and I wanted to go working. Got a job in retail management with Lifestyle Sports. Loved it. Selling sportswear. It was great. Hello.
Oh, that didn't last very long, really.
But so got into retail management and did that for a long time. But I was still DJing on the side, and then there was a point in my management career where I was like, this isn't for me. Anyone that does retail, fair play to you. It's a very tough job. I dropped it and I went out on my own, invested in some money, and it literally just...
Invested in some money?
No, invested money into my business, sorry.
Tell us your trick, what is this?
This was the crypto coins, was it?
The crypto.
I wish.
BMG crypto coins.
So I invested into myself, which was a much better, safer option, I think.
Put into the tech, and I suppose you probably started off where most DJs do, like the hard grafting of bars and clubs, and you've probably seen every scenario under the sun.
Do you remember your first gig? Or was it
that's
more?
Tough now.
I know,
Yeah, it is tough. There was a couple, I'd done a couple of kind of unofficial like house parties and things like that. I think one of my first proper paid gigs that I did was for my dad's friend's birthday. It was a 40th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was fun, but it's good though.
I suppose I can say this, right? I suppose prior to that, and this is kind of unofficially, I was playing in bars and clubs in Tralee when I was 16 in school.
But back in those days, I was serving behind a bar at 15, Billy. I mean, it was a completely different day and age.
So my trick was, I'd go into this bar, I won't name the bar now, but I'd go into the bar, I would do the warm-up slot for the main DJ, so I was in at like 10 o'clock until maybe midnight. Then I'd walk to the nightclub with my headphones and my bag of CDs, and the bouncers didn't even question me. I would walk straight through.
Brilliant.
And I did this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I just image of you walking up the street with your headphones.
Baby face, fucking.
Best one. Yeah, because
we use the F word all the time.
Oh
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
totally
F
fine.
and blind and everything.
Fine.
But I remember I chanced that arm like I just thought like, oh yeah, sure, if I have a car, therefore I'm obviously allowed in. So like I no ID, but like I have car keys. I don't need ID. And your man's like, anybody can have car keys. Yeah. But you're just rocking up with
the best part as well is all the CDs weren't like, some of them were legit CDs, but most of them were like, you know, the duplicates and boards. Just absolute cowboy stuff.
Were you sitting at home waiting for it to come on the radio and burning it on?
That's how the whole BMG came out, right? So my first kind of, before I was actually officially DJing, was sitting down in front of the radio waiting for that banger to come on.
Yeah.
Remember Atlantic 252?
Yeah.
And even 2FM at the time was good if you sat down at the right time. But waiting for the DJ to shut up so you could stop talking, catching the start of the track. And then I used to make mixtapes.
Nice.
I would duplicate them and I'd hand them out around. But and then eventually I was like, there has to be an easy way. So then this was when I was really young.
Yeah.
And then I eventually got a set of decks, like turntables, and I started mixing properly.
Savage.
Very badly, mind you, but I eventually did stick with it. And I kind of self-taught myself to beat match, transition properly. But that's what all started.
Yeah, but there has to be a start somewhere though. Yeah. And I think self-thought as well, like you have your own kind of creativity.
No, it was very frustrating. There was a lot of things picked up and thrown off walls because I couldn't get the beats right. I was lucky enough, like, see, back then we'd no YouTube and you couldn't, like, I used to be staring into DJ boxes trying to see what was going on, and like, unfortunately some of the other DJs I was watching were just as bad. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't really getting much off them, but I was lucky enough, my cousin was quite technical and quite good, and he showed me a few tricks, and then once I kind of got a little bit of a sniff of how to do it properly and master it, it kind of got very easy. But like, it was very frustrating. Any day, like, you can go onto YouTube these days and like pretty much learn how to do anything. But like back then, like,
no.
Do you remember libraries? Yeah, there probably wasn't a book that wanted to beat match.
And you've got like, you've got like an AV business.
Dummy's guide.
Yeah, that's true.
You have an AV business, and we're not going to deep dive into that. But like, I mean, you have access to all the lighting systems, all the sound systems, and like, it was one of those COVID things where I picked up like Carl Cox's autobiography. But like, he back in the day was basically like, he had the best sound system. That's how he kind of started. Was he put so much money into a sound system, and then he was actually, people were inviting him because he could bring the sound system type thing. And like, that's so important. But you are bringing that to weddings. Like, you're bringing the big show, the big equipment, you're bringing it all, like,
Absolutely. So that's where the name Sound came from, because obviously the underlying issue for me. So like, when I first started off, my lighting game was weak. You know, I had no interest in lights. There was a couple of uplighters. All I wanted was proper decks, like the club industry standards, CJs, a good sound system. The lighting to me was just, you know, minimal in the background. And that's kind of where it developed, and that was kind of what I tried to bring through. Once I kind of mastered that and kind of built up my stock of all the different sound systems, you know, so for example, if I'm going into a small wedding with 50 people in a small room, like somewhere like Barnabara House now, or just these smaller little intimate venues.
Yeah, where you don't want to blow the hell out of people.
Exactly, and it's very important, because if you deafen people, they're not going to stay in the room.
No, they're not.
No,
you will clear that room. You
clear that room, 100%. So a smaller, punchier ambient system. Obviously, if you're going down doing your 300 people wedding in a bigger venue, you'll bring a bigger system, you know. But then my new fixation is lighting, and disco balls, and like lighting shows.
I was very impressed now when I met you the last day. I walked into the room and I was like, first of all, it's 8 p.m. and this man has this entire rig set up. I was like, you're my new best friend, Billy.
It is a rig. It's a big setup.
It is a rig, isn't it?
It's a production,
Yeah. But it was like, it's like, to try and put a bit of context into for people that might have not seen you, like, it's as big as band setups when it comes to the actual
you
space
took up the whole
and the
stage.
height and
the normal stage was there. You took up the whole stage, and there was disco balls.
It was a smaller stage, just in case, but it is important. Like, I suppose if you have people that, you know, don't want to go down the band option, you know, I'm focusing mostly on doing weddings where there's no band, and that's what I want to do. So like, if you look up at the stage and you see two pokey little speakers and a little small light, a little laptop and a little table, it's not going to look too impressive.
And a big smiley face on Billy.
But it won't be me.
In a Hawaiian shirt going, come on boys.
So I try to fill the space as best I can, where people can still look up and say, wow, this is cool, you know, and just make it, you know, because, you know, it's someone's wedding, you know, you have to bring your A game and you have to really kind of make people walk away and say, that was actually really cool.
Like it's about giving people an experience. And
exactly.
then also when people are in the room, like if there's 100, 200 people in the room and you're up there, that they're looking up and they're all going, this is impressive. Oh, that this is someone's put effort into this, and we want to dance, as opposed to it's that kind of nervous wait before we see what your man's up to type thing, and then he has to work harder to kind of get people on side by his sound.
100%, it's appealing. You know, you nearly want to go out and dance, even if you don't like the tracks. Like, I'm going to have a bit of that.
There's a vibe here. There's an atmosphere. You're bringing that to the wedding.
But for weddings, that's the trick to it though, because it is a case of like they've been at the stay for 12, 14 hours already. You've just fed them to the brim with food, and they're at a point where I could go to bed now when the first dance is about to start.
It's critical, like it's critical timing. I always say, like getting that transition of. So you probably wouldn't have seen how I started a wedding, so I started a little bit different to most. I don't want to give away too much of my trade secrets.
No, don't give it away either. Leave it as a surprise.
So I will have the guests on the floor basically before the couple come into the it's like a second re-entry into the room.
Yeah.
And it's like what I do pre the couple come back into the room is just to wake people up. They've been sitting down, they've been drinking, they've been eating. So I try to pull that bit of second wind out of them before we start, because it makes such a difference after on the dance floor, as opposed to like, I'm sitting down and I'm going to bed, you know, because I know personally if I eat too much, like food coma, I have to go to sleep, like, so I'm very much aware of that.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying there is like, you appreciate that it's the couple's day, that it is a wedding, and that you're going to set it up and you're kind of trying to create an atmosphere. And even when we were chatting, you were saying, you're happy to collaborate with vendors, that you appreciate that it's not just about you, I'm here and my set has to be correct and I want to start. It's like, one, you're getting the room on side, but you're also you're working with the hotel, you're working with photographers, videographers, you're happy to work in the full circle. Like. It's
a team, like a lot of people don't see it. The weddings are a team effort, you know, from everyone, you know, from starts from early morning, from the makeup, the hair, all that kind of stuff to get them, you know, looking amazing, as they always do. And then obviously you've yourself to capture it, you know. Egos have to be left outside, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't be throwing your toys out of pram at a wedding. And I think, obviously, if there's any problems, the last thing you want to be doing is going back to the couple on their wedding day. It's like, oh, by the way, this is not happening. They don't want to know about that. They've paid you a load of money. Like, they want the result. So everyone, I think, you know, and look, I'm sure there's obviously a lot of,
you always get different scenarios and different kind of things, but what you're kind of saying there is you're going to try find a solution, try and make it work, but like sometimes randomly something happens. And that's just part of all business, all kind of walks of life.
Just get it done, do you know what I mean? Have a bit of respect for everyone else around you, within reason, obviously, if there's someone being an absolute wagon or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, you know, my big thing, I suppose, and I hadn't worked with you previously, I know we'd been at similar weddings or same weddings, but like I would have been gone. Sorry, you were gone by the time I was getting there. So it was my first time kind of doing a full wedding with you guys, and I think the big thing was the lighting for me. I've invested into my lighting obviously, and I see a lot of other setups with regards to bands and DJs, and it's just multiple lights doing multiple things at the same time, and it's just, I'm sure for you it's absolutely frustrating.
Well, I love that, because before we even started, like I think we had barely had a conversation, and then one of the first things you said was like, is this lighting all right for you? Don't worry, I won't change it into a strange colour. And thinking, I'm like, oh, you're my type of man here now. You're considerate about other people as well. But
it's great because when you see the shots after, then they're much clearer and they're nicer, and you're not trying to work too hard after to like edit out stuff. But you know, I think I've different kind of presets of brightness levels, and I've often had like you know, photographers and videographers. They'll come up and they'll dial in their own level, so they'll change different lights. Different intensity.
You let them touch your equipment?
Yeah, I don't.
That's guys.
Just my lighting controller.
Let me touch your camera then.
we know an old school guy in Kerry, he'd be like, I'll put it up to 100%.
The brighter the possible.
Literally, you're like, like, so some of those lights are really intense. Like, I only operate some of them like a 50% brightness, because if you go 100%, it's like, you're nearly getting a tan.
Well, no, that's getting a tan. It's true. But on the subject of full day DJs, and it's kind of something that it's been around for such a long time. But as Irish people, we still go to, like, people automatically going, they'll ask, who's your band? They don't ask, who's your DJ? It's kind of, but we're starting to see over the last 4 or 5 years, I suppose, the more full day DJs are starting to become something that you see more churches. And when you say full day, are you talking about like what would usually be what people would know as the band set start time into a DJ time, or do you do earlier in the day as well?
So I have different packages. I
Yeah.
think the most popular one is just the full night set where you're doing the first dance right up until the end.
Okay.
So you're kind of doing the band's job and
That's kind of like a 4-hour window, isn't it?
give or take. Usually, like you kind of have a set enough time would be 9:30 until 2, kind of standard
Okay.
enough. But then I have other packages where I'm with you all day. So I'll do your ceremony audio. So like I have battery operated speakers, so we could be down the side of a cliff on a scenic, and we can have perfect audio down there. So musicians can plug in, they're battery operated, there's built-in mics with them.
Yeah.
So you have lovely clear audio
that's really
anywhere
good
you
to
want
have.
it, which is really popular. I do drinks receptions, so I have a new thing coming on board there where I'm bringing boxes of records, so like small 7 inches and 12-inch albums in crates. So you can come up, browse through my records, pick them, put them up in front of me, and I'll play your song for you.
Legend.
So that's going to be done on vinyl.
Haven't seen that. That's something.
Nice.
Is
There
that
you go.
is that brand new?
There
That
is
could
something
be?
like it. So there's a really cool guy, I think he's called Gramophone Social. Look him up.
Wait, but you don't go through his records though. We've met.
Yeah, no,
we've
I'm
met
gonna
him.
let
Yeah,
you
we've
do
met him. We've done a couple of
Well,
weddings.
that's like
yeah.
ultimate kind of historic vintage stuff. I
Yeah.
think he has to use a needle every track or something. Like
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's
So
incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'll just be using proper like Technics, the main turntables that we use. With them, nice little mixer, no laptop, no laptop face.
Yeah.
So just pulling records. And
so people pick out the sleeve and you're like, yeah, I'll download
Press
it. But that's nice. Again, like
it's actually a blank record.
we were we were talking, and I suppose you can see it like our daughter. I laugh at her because now she's collecting records, but people have gone back to physical items. Whether it's with the photographs, there was like digital. Now it's like books and frames and everything like that. And it's the same with the music. They're like, now there's a special edition, and I'm getting records. And even I get suckered into kind of when a new album comes out, or you want to support like a kind of an Irish artist. You go, I'll buy the LP, and you get the record. And it's lovely for people to actually physically flick through something. And I suppose they're seeing covers as well, and it probably reminds them of whatever.
It's nostalgia. It's 100%. Like my dad took my records that I had from when I was like back starting out, like it's all banging hard. I was like just really. I put some of it on last night in the studio. I finally got my stuff set up, and I was like, oh my god! I was literally back in my garage when I was 16, just thumping it. So it's like the look, the feel. You know, it's just something physical. I think we've lost touch with physical stuff, and I think people don't really appreciate a Spotify collection or like a digital collection. Like I have a lot of MP3s and WAVs and stuff on my laptop for a long time. But you don't know what colour it is, you don't know what it looks like, you don't know.
Or you barely know what the artist looks like anymore because it's all digital.
But even lads, I talk to lads and they're like, I only started listening to albums now, and you're like, what? Like because they hear one random song, or they hear the snippet on in social media, and they know that. Or it's like your man who was on Graham Norton, who kind of got a one-hit wonder type thing, and it's like he just threw it up onto TikTok, and now he's a recording artist. I can't remember the song, but you probably remember.
Yeah, no, I've seen a few videos on TikToks like that, where they've literally just put up something and it just
blows up. But the actual kind of like having the, like we would have always, you bought a CD and you kind of used to make yourself listen to that CD. You listened to it 10 times whether you liked it or
didn't
like it.
every track and what number on the track
That's because we were so restricted back then, like I still have my old 2 CD cases with all my old CDs, both the legit ones that I bought and the ones I kind of copied and made myself, they're downloading and then putting on
you'd
CD.
have the books, you could put them in.
Or did you go through the phase of HMV will kill us, but we used to bring them back, you bring them back, burn them.
I'm glad you said that first because
I never did that. Did you?
Oh, there was a window where you could do that. Oh yeah.
I got pretty much barred out of the, I won't say where it's obvious where I was doing this, but I got pretty much
he was getting the
barred out of
train
the
up
shops because I'd go home, I'd buy it at lunch, go home, duplicate it, bring it back in the next day.
And did they know what you were doing, or?
100%. This was every day. Like I go home, I was getting all the CDs, and then eventually I'd start sending my mom in.
the lads in.
My mom used to go in.
Your mom in.
I was like, Mom, I don't like the CD. Would you take it back to me there and get this one instead?
Yeah. Oh no, I used to send in the brother or get one of the lads to like. They might recognise me going there, but they cut that out pretty quickly.
But it's a great idea.
They started wrapping them. They started wrapping them in plastic to stop us opening them. So,
Yeah. Do you remember you actually able to like check the CD actually? Because you'd be like, has this been used? Because we used to check them to see like is it scratched.
Oh, I made sure
probably from the likes of you guys bringing them home.
I was wearing gloves and everything, and big bodysuits, and just trying to make sure it was perfectly done.
The forensics. That's
But that's a super idea though, because I think for drink receptions as well, for the guests, like that's something to interact with. It's also kind of like an activity.
You know, when you get to like the drinks reception, everyone is just getting there. They might have gone to the church, and do you ever notice there's a little bit of awkwardness in the room from time to time, where people like you've got 2 different groups or people that don't know each other, and they're like getting their glass of prosecco or their beer, and it's like, oh, where do we overstand? So at least if I have like a couple of boxed records, they can come over and browse and actually. Oh, did he just play a track? Cool.
Or people start talking about like when someone's picked up that one. and then someone's going to go, I was at that concert or something like that. Like my dad's claim to fame was he was at a Rory Gallagher concert that was recorded onto an LP, and then it became like legendary. But like people like don't believe him that he was there type thing. But like conversations like that will start up. And that's good for the guests. Yeah.
Just the edge off, relax. Everyone loves browsing through your record and hearing it then as well. So yeah.
And it's like as you said, conversation starter is huge for people because most people don't know each other at a wedding. You have little pockets, but they're all friends by the end of the day.
Give them 2 hours of drinking and they're like, oh yeah.
Have you met my buddy? We met 2 hours ago. Yeah. Don't know his name, but he's lovely. He's lovely. Yeah. No, it's so true.
And then the rest of the day, so is there any more part that you would play before, say, if you were doing like the band set, or do you do anything for the entrance, or?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get in. I'm looking at the CO2 buzz that seems to be kind of taking off. I've looked into that, so I'm thinking of potentially
That's like balloons and doing CO2 through balloons, isn't it?
That's a different service they don't advertise, but
that's just for skiing.
The helium and the oxygen. Whoop, whoop. We're going to Vegas, baby. That's called the Vegas experience. In case anybody wants to check in on that. BMG Sound Vegas experience.
Got a Vegas package.
You can get it, just don't ask for it.
Yeah.
It's a special word for it.
Don't tell the venue.
But have you seen the videos with the CO2 cannons where they're blasting off CO2 into the crowd? Have you seen
these?
I'll send
I
them on.
haven't
It's really
actually.
cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So it was posted into one of the wedding groups I'm on, and
was this in Ireland it happened, or was it in America? Because
I don't know.
Sometimes it kind of takes a while to transition over.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You can do it. I know guys that are doing it at kind of bigger club events, but like I think the problem. So what I've inquired is that you have to like get a subscription to the company that provide the CO2. So even if you're renting the stuff or using canisters, and canisters can be quite expensive.
Yeah.
There's obviously health and safety issues. You need to make sure that you've got the right stuff. You've got to buy proper stuff. So I'd imagine there's some kind of training you probably will have to do.
And what, like, describe it for me. What happens? Like, so
basically,
I know.
with the intro, that's got the whole kind of, you know, like I don't know. You obviously see a lot more intros than I do. My biggest gripe with intros is that there's really bad music coming through a really poor sound system.
Listen, most of the time they go and introducing, say, Mr. and Mrs. Benson, and then they're like, and then there's no music.
Because do
you know
and then they get to the top table, and then it starts at the start of the song, and then everyone's like, stand back up. Oh, no, it stopped again.
No, I have a little bit of forgiveness for venues. Some of their systems are basically like, it's either voice activated or sound activated, one or other. So you have to be kind of like, hit the button, bang on, or the fella who's like on the iPad or whatever, and he's hit go, he's staring at the wall, and you're like, hello, hit the go button, type thing. But you're dead right. So if that can be done slick and fun and reliable.
What I'm hoping to do in the future, it's a job for another time now because I've nothing going on, but a proper intro where we lift the roof off the place. Cool, the lights will already, so like my setup would already be there, so we just activate it earlier, so the lights go off, bit of haze, whatever. Nice. The CO2 gun's basically it's a gun you hold, but it sends out, it's like setting off a fire extinguisher, if you've ever done that. Right. I can't say I have.
I could tell a good story about that.
But it's really fun. Yeah, so can I. But like, it's really fun. So it's basically a blast of CO2 gas out, and then it is basically, it's a bit of fun. The gas canister only lasts about, 30, 40 seconds flat out. Okay. But they're kind of blasting. I'll send you the video. I found it on TikTok there, but it's really cool. So I've seen a post into a group I'm on this week where a bride asked about it. She put in the TikTok video, and the amount of people that started following the post was amazing. Loads of brides I really want this.
People are looking for something new, because this is the thing. Like a lot of people in their 30s, they spend their late 20s, mid 30s, they can go to 8, 9, 10 weddings in a year, especially if you're involved in GAT teams or something like that, that you're involved, literally, you're invited to all the big weddings. And and then they're getting married themselves. They went to 10 weddings last year, and they're trying to think of, what can I do that they didn't do?
100%. Yeah. It's everyone's trying to outdo each other, I suppose, in the nicest way.
Keeping up with the Joneses, modern age.
But the demographic that are getting married now, like they've been to Ibiza, they've been to concerts and festivals where productions, like things have really moved forward. Like that's why I'm trying to move the wedding DJ market forward as well. Okay. The days of just showing up with 2 speakers and a small light or whatever, I think that's truly gone.
Yeah,
it's more production. You know, we're seeing a lot of stuff on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram of festivals, big DJs, big shows.
But you're right though, why can't this be brought in?
100%,
Well, to give people an example of that this really works was Eddie and Ian's, they went and got a pre-production. Basically what they did was they did like a 4-minute pre-production, the lads, they're getting married, and basically like they had a voiceover, so it's all on one track, so the hotel don't have to stress about kind of having to introduce themselves, having to hit play. It's all done, it's 4 minutes ready to go. The voiceover is done professionally. Basically we're introducing X, Y, Z. and basically explained the whole thing. Like you said, because it was there, the volume was right up, raised the roof. It was all timed to 90 seconds of this, and then it transitioned into the table dash, which only worked because the lads were full of energy, because the production was so good, and they actually did a table dash. So that was excellent.
This
Did you see it
in
the
Great
Southern?
Great Southern, I saw it.
Yeah, recently,
Yeah.
within the last
Yeah,
month or
it's
so.
They look like two absolute legends.
Oh,
in it.
and they were.
legends.
And
You
it's-
have to have a bit of fun with it, kind of thing. And
yeah.
I was like, they said to me, like, do you mind? I was like, do I mind?
Yeah.
I'm excited to do something different.
Yeah.
Like, let's have a bit of
Yeah.
fun.
Because like the whole, like, nothing against singing waiters and all that kind of stuff, like the whole, it's been done. So, you know.
You see, they're trying to look for something new, and even I think even the singing waiters nowadays, they're trying to find a different way of doing it or a different edge on, like, how can I do it? But like,
and it's great. I remember, like, I was doing sound for him for a while when it come down. I think I haven't done it in a while, but like, it is really cool.
no, it is because it wakes everybody up.
Yeah,
as you say,
exactly.
like,
There are some girls,
yeah.
and we've seen them 4 or 5 times, and they've done different sets.
Yes.
and they're really good at it.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And it will come a stage where a lot of people, at the moment, everybody hasn't seen it. Grand, say 20 people in the room may have seen it before, but it will become a point where, they've seen that's Amore.
There will be a point where your man's going to fall on the ground and like, I'll go ahead.
No one's living.
You're fine. Like,
I know that trick.
Waiter.
Yeah. And I love it.
Terrible.
It's still a testament. I was just watching one back there a while ago, and actually it was great because I liked it. It tests people's personality as to whether they help them or whether they're disgusted.
It's what kind of person are you?
Yeah. It's the people that just sit there with their coffee going, I cannot believe that
you did
person's
that.
fallen.
I saw that. It was in photo, and I was mortified. I was like, "Oh my god, was someone not going to help him?" Like they was looking at him, like, "Clown." It's like this is bad.
And then some days they're almost on the phone ringing the ambulance.
Yeah.
There was a wedding actually we did before, and
There you go. We could have a new business thing there.
ambulance.
Paramedics running in because someone's after getting them.
Oh my God, don't. But I like the
Singing paramedics. There we go.
Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, that's true actually. But we won't test it. I'm like, oh, don't do it. The two of you aren't allowed to speak anymore.
I won't mention it. No, I'm going to put that back in the box. No.
But I think though that with the because a lot of people they plan so much of the day. Like they plan the aisle walk, they plan all these different parts. But there's so many different parts of the day that are actually they're overlooked, and it's everything from. The couple have just arrived to the venue and they're about to come into the drinks reception for the first time. Yeah. And now and then you'll come across, there might be a live musician in there, might be a DJ in there, and we'll give them a nod to say the couple are just about to walk in. And they'll make a big deal out of it. And instead of them walking in the door and everyone's like, oh yeah, they're here. Yeah, they actually interact, they clap, they sing,
It should be, I think, and this, I think, look, it's down to couples having a vision of what they want and relaying that to the vendors. If I'm getting booked to do a drinks reception, let's make a fuss when you come in. Absolutely. Getting the thumbs up from you guys outside. We're ready to go. Have an absolute banger already. Get on the mic and make a thing. But I don't think it happens enough. No. So I think there needs to be more awareness around couples that, like, you're paying vendors, you give them a vision of what you want and it gets done. Like, with my couples, there's an initial call. There's one long Zoom where we plan everything on a document. I have a kind of an outlay that we'll fill in all the information. Then there's a follow-up Zoom where we finish off all the details. But everything executed to a T on the day. Yeah. Just in relation to your kind of meal stuff there, one thing I'm trying to bring in, but it's kind of hard, is music bingo. It's great crack to do. Right. But also, like...
Do you remember the time when they used to get bingo into weddings when that C word was around? Do you remember those times? They were doing bingo. Because dancing and music wasn't allowed, so there was bingo. Yeah, do you remember those days? Yeah. It was actually a great idea, though.
Well, you better
sit at your table and we're doing bingo.
I can say this now because we're out the other end of it, but what we were doing was when the music had to stop, we were having silent discos.
Nice. Okay.
So
I'm still waiting for a silent disco while waiting over there.
The band would go until what was our curfew? 11:30 or 12 or something.
12,
it was very,
music cut off
it was
in
very
general
tough.
was just
done. But some was known and then some was cut off.
So basically, the band would go as normal. Everything was perfectly down to time, and then I'd start at 12 till 2 with silent disco. So there was no loud music being playing.
Clever.
So really
smart
clever.
asses.
Yeah, really
being
clever.
a techie helps. But then I suppose talking about like the type of sets. So before we throw a few banger of questions at you, if there's a type of but if there's what's your rough type of set? So like if you're doing the longer 4 or 5 hour set, you kind of break it up into different kind of genres or moods for different type of groups of a wedding, or if you're just doing the 2 hour pure set, is that different?
So basically, the big thing with me is that I'm not a traditional wedding DJ. My background is clubbing and bars, right? So I have no interest in doing rock the boat and all that kind of stuff. There's plenty of, it's not for me. So couples that book me are kind of like people that are like really into their music, you know, they go to see DJs, they go to festivals, they go to EP and all that kind of stuff. They don't want that kind of traditional wedding set. And there's nothing wrong with a traditional wedding set, you know what I mean? Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. So I give my couples the option to collaborate with me, but with the music. So they have a vision of what they want. They know and I encourage them to get their guests involved. So simple little things like putting a thing on the RSVP about request a track for the DJ.
Nice.
If it's rubbish, it just gets discarded.
Or but if you send that out to 200 people, a same song's probably going to get picked about 10 times, if not more.
Maniac 2000.
And there's other little unique things I do then, like where, you know, if they've got people traveling or there's kind of special people like parents and all that kind of stuff, you know, we'll dedicate their request directly to them, so they'll get a shout out from me saying, where is Mary, the mother of the bride? She loves ABBA or whatever, do you know what I mean? Whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. But to answer your question, we do the first dance. After the first dance, it's hand in the air stuff, just because you can get good content. You know, you don't want like slow, dreary stuff. You want people on the dance floor, and you want happy faces, hands in the air. I kind of tone it back down then once the photographers are gone.
Because those first.
Not that I'm trying to get rid of you, but
but you're helping us out because if you have a set list and it's very rigid and it's kind of like I'm building up to a certain point, it's like the photographers most likely and videographers and most likely they're 3, 4, 5 songs type thing. There's a certain window. And they want to capture, what we're trying to do is capture the party that you had later on. But you don't want the camera in your face for 2 hours when you're letting loose. You just want that for a few songs and people don't notice. So if the music's just started, if it's bangers and it gets people going, that's brilliant. They forget that we're there, and then by the time they realise we're there, we're going.
Exactly. And then I kind of tone it back. So like I suppose I'm very conscious of the fact there's no band, and bands do a lot of kind of 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, depending on the band. And I try to relax back into some of the good 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, just some 60s that just works so well at weddings. I love the 60s music, 70s disco is really popular, 80s is just unbelievable, it's my favourite decade. And depending on how my dance floor dynamic is looking, generally a lot of, you know, the more mature guests, we call them, we won't say the O word, but they want to get their dancing done a bit earlier, because generally they run on the
I mean, when you said I'm not a traditional wedding DJ, it's kind of like you would take the point of view of there's 200 people in the room, you've got to play to different kind of decades of people, but you're basically saying there that you will still entertain the whole spectrum of people in the room.
When I say I'm not traditional, it's like I'm not going to be doing all the
cheese.
So like when I say I'm playing 60, I'm playing edits of it and kind of different like DJ friendly edits, stuff that you're not going to hear on Spotify. I'm on different pools of music, and my music will be, it's, you know the song, but you know it's different, but it's not that different that you won't dance to, you know. I'm kind of complimenting
it's still recognisable that they're going to go, that one I'm going up dancing.
So I'm transitioning, I'm mixing, you know, it's not start-stop, I'm transitioning, I'm scratching through, I'm belting through tracks, I'm kind of putting it together. You could hear a 90s track into a 60s track, and like, holy God, you know, what's going on here? Did you hear it coming through, and they're like, oh, this is cool. So you kind of put on a bit of a show and kind of showcasing your DJ skills. And just building, you know, again, I feel like, so I work off the energy on the floor. So if I feel the energy isn't there, I'm going to pull something back and pull it up. You can kind of get 3 or 4 belters before you lose the energy anyway. So it's all about kind of pockets of bit of 60s, bit of 70s, excuse me, bit of 80s and whatever going to work. Once the break comes out, the lovely tea and coffee and all the lovely food, little reset, then it's just banging techno.
Hardcore house for the next 3 hours.
It's literally a rave. Maniac 2000 is dropped.
That's when he gets the foam machine out and he gets...
The lights get very stroby.
Do you ever just think about playing one track on repeat just for like 3 hours, just to see what happens?
I have a friend who has done that a few times. I won't mention his name. He's a very good friend. This is in a nightclub situation. After some refreshments, we will say.
So just to test the crowd, see do they know.
So I have toilet break tracks, which could be like
toilet break tracks. I like it.
And the best thing about a toilet break track is when you come back, you can pretty much 99.9% guarantee there is someone up behind the deck syncing with the headphones on the microphone.
Oh, are you serious? Stop. They don't touch that thing though, do they?
They do.
Okay.
So I'll give you a good story. So I won't mention the venue or whatever, but I was on my break in the van in the venue. On my break, it was a union job, but like, I have rights. I was tucking into some food mid-set, and everything was fine. I had all the tracks lined up and everything to go. Next thing, I just about to drink some coffee. Boom, track starts kicking in. I spat the coffee out in the van. I was like, what's going on? ran in, like there was 3 lads up here on the decks trying to mix and play, and oh yeah, I lost it. Yeah, I absolutely lost it.
They could be too serious damage to the equipment.
I don't care about the touching the equipment. It's kind of hard to break the equipment. It's the full points hovered over and up on top of your laptop and all this kind of stuff.
It could be game over.
Because drink, good luck.
No, you're gonna have to have the sandwich like bent down below the decks, just behind it.
But then when you're there, they're like, "Why don't you play music? What's going on? Like, is it over?"
Yeah,
you know, so I kind of like to reset. So now I just kind of shut things down a little bit and just turn down volumes.
Okay.
But
and if people have a go on, you going? Where are we going now? I see the cheeky smile. You're like,
I used to get very cross about like going to the bathroom and coming back, and I like, you know what, I just take photos and put them up. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, it is funny. Once they don't interfere too much, it's okay. But,
I think most people have the best of intentions.
Yeah,
it's just the foolishness that disaster happens.
It's just, I get anxiety when I see the drinks over because the stuff is very I'm not using kind of little controllers. Like my stuff is probably like my DJ setup. What are we talking? I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
The creme de la creme. Like it's the Rolls Royce of DJ equipment. Yeah. So if it was a little controller and got a drink, not too bad. But this stuff is
no.
Same as all your equipment.
I know how you feel, because people do sometimes come over, particularly beyond your harness, they come over and they like grab onto your camera and they're like, "Oh,
really?
What's this? Is this the blah blah blah?" And they start touching buttons and you're like, "Please put the camera down."
Oh my God.
Like just, my head goes to, don't go into the format SD card section on my camera. Like the whole thing's gone. But no, people. But it's drink. It's like people get over familiar.
I don't know how bad it is for you, but definitely like if we're coming on later in the night.
Yeah.
I was just about to go there.
Have the peak of drink.
So the drunk person who comes over with their glass, we're now going to request, don't bring the drink over. But you probably get it all the time. Like, how are you at requests? Is there a new modern way where people maybe can, we'll get onto QR codes later on and stuff, but is there a way that they can kind of put in the request, whether it was through the invite, but on the day, is there anything clever going on in terms of like requesting a song, or you still get the thing in the ear of, can I have this? Will you play this? Will you play this? And you're like, I played it, and you're asking again 20 minutes later.
Forgot.
You probably get it all.
So my policy requests is I don't do them. Okay,
nice.
So one of my kind of things with my couples is that we've obviously collaborated on their musical preferences.
Okay, that makes sense.
We don't want someone coming in, and again, if you've had the option to send in your song pre-wedding and it didn't make the cut.
Get over it.
If it's a good song, like what I don't mind, what I appreciate, right, is someone that appreciates what you're doing and compliments what you're doing with a like song that's a good song.
Okay.
That this is a fun song. This is that I like dancing to this. That I've seen it where we had a great night out and this song was hopping, as opposed to someone going.
But if it's like,
I like Neil Diamond.
What I call there you go, right? If it's peak dance floor time where like we've done all the cool stuff and now we're into like, you know, hands in the air stuff. And someone wants to come up and they want, I'm not going to sing Neil Diamond because it's going to have hands in the air track technically, but they want some kind of something that's just totally obscure, right? Like what people don't understand as a DJ, right? I'm working so hard to keep the dance floor full. Like you play one bad song at an Irish wedding.
They're gone. No, they are gone.
Goodbye. And you're chasing your tail to get them back.
And it's amazing how quick the dance floor can
empty.
Like
that. And the cool thing, what I learned, right, I thought I was a hero for all these American weddings that I was doing. Because the floor was always full, no matter what I did. And I was like, I didn't understand. I had a conversation. I was like, how come you're like, I wasn't the dance floor? I was like, it's the thing that we just dance. Even if we don't like the song, we'll stay on the dance floor and dance. And I was like,
we do it for the couple. Oh no, but it's funny.
It's very polite.
It's kind of like that when we kind of say to managers, no, if you ask them to do something, they will do it. Like if you tell them they have to start now the speeches because they're humming on hand, and it's like if you go up and say to them, we're doing the speeches now, they will just start. And if you say, lads, will you come up and dance? They're like, and they come and do it, and they're very good that way.
Brilliant, absolutely love it. But so like, while the track might be good, it might not fit that vibe at that time. You know, people don't understand it. And that's fair enough, people obviously don't understand what we do, but like, we're protecting the dance floor. We do not, like, no DJ wants to play it empty. And it does, there is lulls and whatever. But like, there's a time and a place for music, you know, and like, some people just don't get that. And then they can kind of be a bit, because there's a drink on board, they get a little bit in your face. So I kind of have a rule that my couples know, like, look, I don't want to be approached.
Do you bring pepper spray? No,
I know I'm smiling now, but I have a massive resting bitch face when I'm DJing, so no one comes near me anyway.
Cool. So lads, you're not to bring your drinks up, but you're also not to bring your face up. Okay? Just stay away. There's a 10-meter bubble, like just stay away from
I kind of protect myself with lights, and if they're getting too close, I just hit a button, like line up, and like,
disco ball.
Where was I? What was I doing? So that's it, they're gone. But I try not. And again, we do get a lot of stick at times, you know. But I think it used to annoy me before, but now I'm just like, whatever.
You can't let these things annoy you though either. And you're right though, because you're there. Obviously, you're there to entertain the room, but you're there for for the couple, and you put all the work in. And I think it works the same with all suppliers. I mean, we'll have a couple and they'll say to us, like, do the bare minimum when it comes to groups. I want a documentary, candid, off the wall, like as mad photos as you can make them, put them all in, the good, bad and the ugly kind of thing. And then the mother is on the whole other page, and she's saying
and
to
now
me,
do this,
and will you do this, and will you do this, and we'll get, and I'm kind of going, you just need to run it by, because they've asked me to do the opposite. They've asked me to do the complete opposite.
And that's a nice kind of fair way of doing it, you know.
Yeah.
And I 100%, like you've someone that thinks they're a bit more important at the wedding, and they think, oh yeah, we're going to hijack everything that's been planned.
Or they have the best idea that the best idea that you've ever heard of, and they're like, oh, but this is just going to blow them out of the water, and it's like, nah, maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm doing this every week for a long time. I don't think it will, to be honest.
Do you ever get like off the wall first dance requests? Because being a DJ, I suppose you can play. I suppose you can play anything for them. Whereas the bands are probably a bit like, oh geez, I couldn't play that. I'll throw it on MP3 for you.
Yeah. I weirdly enough, like I've done a good few weddings where there's been no first dance. Couples just don't want to do it. No, I try to talk them into it, but it's not my wedding, so I can't. But like, it's a little bit more difficult for me to start a wedding without the first dance. I had a really cool situation there last year in Castlemartyr. A lovely couple, great track selection. They're a very cool couple, you know. So they didn't want the first dance. They didn't want the whole fuss, and like, I don't even think they did a walk-in track. So I did my usual trick of getting everyone on the floor first with the first dance coming, but I duped them. So while we'd prearranged and while this track was going on, the couple snuck in the back, and before they knew it, they were in the middle of the dance floor, and we were up and running.
That's a really good.
Nice.
But at least, so this is really good video. I have to stop you there, because we've had a couple of days as well where, like, to be honest with you, majority of couples you talk to, they stress about certain parts of the day, and the first dance is like almost number one on that list of things they stress about, because they're not dancers. People don't like attention half the time, and like they really don't want to be in the middle of the floor thinking, I'm waddling back and
for 2 minutes,
and every iPhone in the room is recording this happening, and the GAN lads are in the corner laughing at me, and my mother's fucking crying in the other corner, and like this is what goes through their head kind of thing. But you're totally right though, if there's not a first dance, there still has to be like a first song. So like the dance floor has to kick off, and if you just stand there and go play track with no announcement, nothing,
so
like it just doesn't work.
I usually go on the mic and kind of introduce myself, a little bit of chit chat, an attempt at comedy if I can, and then just just to let people know, because I think it's right, like for me starting off, first impressions are everything, right? So if you can't wow them with your equipment, you need to try and wow them, with a bit of personality. So they know that you're there, a bit of crack, let them know what's going on. I think they appreciate it. I think, the Irish are quite good in that, like, they'll get up and go because they know it's the first time, but if they think there's no first dance, they're not getting up.
They think they have permission.
No, they're in the smokers, they're at the bar, and they're just sitting around a table.
But in terms of tracks, everything's different. I always try and tell people when they're asking about the first dance track, like, think back to when you first started dating. Was there any memories or first holidays of like something you might have listened to? And then with the first dance, they don't want to do it. So like, I try and explain to them, you're sitting here pre-wedding in your living room, zooming me, and you don't want to do first dance. But I said, when you're dolled up and all your friends and family around you, you'll be on that dance floor.
The confidence levels are way up there.
But even if you even go in for 10 seconds and then everyone's being called in 10 or 20 seconds later, go into the dance floor, have a waddle, do a spin, just lift your arm, do a spin.
But that's what they're doing.
I've
seen some really good rehearsal stuff where they've like nailed it.
Choreographed it to an inch, brilliant.
And I'm not a dancer either, I can't dance, like, but like, all you gotta do is stand there and kind of
I can't dance, but I do. Because I can't help it if I hear a song. I'm like, if there's no one else in the dance floor, I'm just there in the corner bopping away to myself because I feel good about it.
And that's why I love DJing, because you can bop away to yourself above and no one can see your feet going.
And then I think what you're trying to get across there was you have a little bit of personality, but like to show
very
people
very
tiny bit of personality. But you're up for a good crack. What were you doing up the top of the mountain with your DJs?
Like, I have bad hiking stories, but you're like, you do a whole other level.
Did you watch the video?
I did.
It's gas. So I think the lads are clinging onto rocks, holding the phones.
How it was supposed to go in my head was a magical sunrise with clear skies and, just picturesque.
I'd like to find it as like Carntoon is not the place to be at the top when it's bad weather. It's
we couldn't have got a worse day. It's probably the worst I've ever been up there. But so that was basically me. So during the C word that we didn't mention earlier, I had to get a real job.
Banned from this podcast. I
had to get a real job, which I loved. And I was, I suppose, missing what I was doing, and it was a time where there was some bad stuff going on in the world, and a lot of people were doing stuff for charity.
Yeah.
And I said, what can I do? Do my bit. So I started Googling world's highest DJ sets and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm not going up Everest. That was kind of out the window. I was like, what can I do locally? He's like, Karen Jewell, let's do it.
It costs a bit more money to go to Everest.
I couldn't have flown anyway, so it was all the one.
True.
So I was like, you know what, let's do this for the crack. No one's done it. I did a bit of research and there was nothing there. So I was like, I'm going to own this.
Nice.
So stupidly went on radio stations, put up videos in my bedroom doing it, and I was like, do I really know what I'm doing here? But I just went out. So I started ordering. I ordered a generator, got some battery lights, and just kind of tried to, work out what we were doing. I was like, this is just kind of heavy.
Exactly. Yeah. You must have had a gang of lads to kind of, because I didn't look it up
to be clear, they're all listed on my website, but obviously family and friends and even some other people that we kind of met along the way, like absolute legends. I cannot tell you, like,
it's a trek, like, up there.
It was
it's
horrible.
Not an easy climb.
I was about a kilometre in, and my legs were starting to give up. I hadn't slept. I was so nervous, and I hadn't slept. I hadn't been training.
Yeah. And it seems to like drag forever before you feel like you're going up on Carrington, doesn't it? Before you get to Devil's Ladder or whatever way you went up.
We were about a kilometre in and really started to feel the weight of the stuff. It just got very heavy, very fast. But anyway, we got up, we got it done. The video is hilarious. Like we're just getting blown off. I couldn't feel my hands.
Like it literally is just grey, and like you could be anywhere.
I was up there. I promise. I was up there.
But you actually could have just got a mound of rocks at the bottom. Like I'm on the
You were there DJing away. There was one solid person dancing in the background. Who was that?
Yeah, her name was Gladine. I think she's in Brazil, but she was an absolute trooper. Really good. She loved it. She still she goes hiking a lot, but. Yeah, it could have been better. We could have enjoyed it more because I was supposed to do half an hour. I think when you played 3 or 4 tracks and we're like, let's get off. The problem coming back down is when I was up there and I stopped moving, my legs locked out completely. Wow. My legs, I've never cramped so hard in my life. So I had to get like deep heat. And try and get it down my pants into my legs.
This is in the Las Vegas package, everybody. DP down pants, some balloons. Gonna have a good wedding.
The DP did make contact with where it wasn't supposed to make contact, and I woke up very, very fast. So I was like beating the shit out of my legs trying to get them to move. And once I eventually got moving, I literally ran down that mountain.
It's really cold, is that up there, was it?
It was Baltic, absolutely soaked wet, freezing cold, crampy legs. Heavy gear. We brought everything back down. I still have the generator actually. I only started up there last day.
So if anybody wants to go up the mountain and have a DJ,
there you go. I mean, people love to the weirdest places. So you're saying you'll go with them? Is that what you're trying to get on this podcast?
I'll do it again.
First dance on Cliffs Moor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a bit easier to get to.
It's the battery speakers, battery lights, and the generator was just more to power the laptop and the actual decks. But you can get powered decks now, battery powered decks. So
such a great idea though, fair dues to you.
But we made money for charity, that's the big thing. We got like $3,500 I think.
Savage.
So everyone that donated, thank you so much.
Legend.
The money went to the Red Cross actually, so it was
brilliant. And they didn't have to go get you, which was it didn't get spent on getting you off the mountain.
This is now like I'm the most thick and stubborn person you're ever going to come across. I have no problem admitting it, but I had to get permission to go up there, just to be clear. It wasn't me. I got permission from the landowners, but one of the things was that we were not to ring we could have rang them, but like the mountain rescue did not have, and I didn't want to bring the mountain rescue up there because they do savage work under savage pressure. They're brilliant. And I was like, there is no way I'm ringing. So I was like, with the DP, like, hitting my leg.
Rolling down this if I had to.
I literally was going to go down head first if I had to. I was going to sleep up there until my legs started working again. But there was no way I was coming off that mountain on a stretcher.
So if you're a trooper, whatever happens at the wedding, you're getting to the end of the set.
See, this is why I don't mind hauling. I'm hauling gear and whatever, it's easy. I think that's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and knowing that I've done that, everything's easy now.
But the weight of us was been unreal though.
It was, I should have, I think I was so naive and I probably deliberate ignorance to what I was doing.
Yeah, but if you overthink these things, you won't do them. You'll back out. Yeah. I find sometimes you throw yourself in and look, listen, if it works, it works.
Go on camera, tell everyone what you're going to do. Don't back out because you're too proud.
You can always do this happened video afterwards.
So the plan was actually to live stream it, but I don't think we got the live stream up and running properly because we couldn't get I tried to put my laptop up and it was like literally nearly got carted off because the wind was just going through everywhere. I had to try and get plastic to go over the decks to there was water going into I kind of looked down at one stage and there was just water everywhere. And I was like, maybe it's time to get off the mountain now. I got about 3 tracks in or whatever it was and we're done. Everyone wanted to get off. No one was enjoying it, to be honest.
Because the weather can change there so much. We were going up there one time, myself and my friends, and we got halfway up Devil's Ladder and the weather just blew in. And it just started what's that's raining so much that that part just turned into a wall.
Waterfall, yeah.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
totally
It's
show
illegal,
waterfall.
yeah.
And like we're the type of people that go that morning, where do we go? Sure, we'll go there. And we don't even bring a change of clothes, we're desperate. We were down in Killarney and Penny's buying tracksuits to do in the toilet.
You looked hilarious when you came home.
In matching tracksuits.
Penny's leggings.
Penny's
€4
leggings,
done.
yeah. But yeah, so you made it at least. You kept going. That's
I had
that's
to.
a really good. yeah.
And then special requests. So if there's first dances on the cliffs if people really want to do it. But other than that, like father daughter dances or any other kind of special requests. Do you have a preferred way of fitting them into your set and how that works? Like calling people up and whatever.
So obviously first dance is number one, most important, and then we do the special dances that we call. So we'll have them in order and pre-rehearsed, and everyone knows what they're doing. So we'll do them boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's other kind of little things where I've had people come up and like MCing stuff. I don't really like it too much, but like, if it's a really good party piece and it's going to work, a couple are mad about it, I'll do it.
But everyone has their own quirky little things they bring to
Yeah,
weddings.
exactly.
So
I've had
sometimes
brides on the decks, like I've had brides and grooms come up and do a mix. Like I did a really cool wedding at Adair Manor last year, and the groom was a DJ back in the day in college.
Oh,
so towards the end of the night, he came up.
He came on for a bit.
Yeah, he came on a mix. So I'm all for that stuff, anything.
But that's all about timing. So like he came on like way late, so people are kind of like, oh, that's an extra surprise. That's an extra kind of gear change, and then people will respond to that in the room. And like you say, like if it has to, you have to know it's going to work.
Yeah, but I MC'd I kind of stopped the music and got it. And next thing I was like, we've got a special guest tonight. Next thing he just jumps up from behind the decks.
Love it.
Nice.
And starts saying, but I think anything you can do like that to make the wedding different and special for the couple.
Yeah.
I think that has to be done. Within reason, I hate the people that come up like, oh, can I do karaoke? It's like,
oh no.
Politely go away. Shoo.
And have you ever had?
Can I have your mic?
Have you ever had a disaster like calling someone up like Laura's a devil for like what's their name again, and then you're calling out the wrong person? Like Laura's awful for the lead bands and singer, and they're like, it's definitely not Mairead. It's definitely. And Laura's like, it is.
One of these days though, when the band says to me, what's their name again? Before they come, I'm going to give them the wrong. I'm going to start giving them. No, I wouldn't do it.
Because you've been in so many.
I have a good story. I have two good stories here, right? So I'm very OCD with details. So I have my wedding plan. Right in front of me, I have their name on my playlist. Yeah. So their name is everywhere. I have it on a little sticky app on my thing. So I have it.
So you're cheating.
Yeah.
You have a sticky in front of you.
No, I'm just doing it. But I was told a story of a DJ that I know, went to a wedding, did the first dance, and basically was getting absolute daggers from everyone in the room, photographers and videographers included.
We were probably at the wedding.
The atmosphere was just not good. Okay. And he knew something was going wrong. So eventually, after the couple came up and said, that's not our names, and that wasn't our first dance track.
We have done two weddings where they played the wrong song for the first dance. Yeah. One went with it, and the other couple stood in the middle of the floor and waited for him to find the right track, and he didn't have it. It was the worst thing ever. But like, it's kind of like you're being hired to do a certain thing, and I think the first dance is probably the most important part of it.
But I mean, that can happen, like in terms of like putting on the wrong track. Like if it's called The One, there's so many songs actually called The One.
But just to clarify, that wasn't you.
It wasn't me. No.
Someone else.
On my document, there's a very clear section where it is first dance track. If it's an edit, a remix,
version,
a remastered version, whatever it is, and I need a direct link because what I might see is that track. Sure. What you might see is that track be different. Yeah. So they've given me the specific, and it's very hard to go wrong after that.
Okay.
So just going back to like calling people on the mic and stuff then, so I had an incident, well not an incident, it was a funny incident last year which was potentially career ending.
Call the ambulance.
Career ending.
Call a taxi. I've been leaving my decks there and walking out of there. But on my wedding plan there was a request for the bride's dad, which was a particular song that the bride's dad was into.
Right.
And usually when I'm doing these requests, I'll make a fuss of the person. So like, where are you? Come up to the dance floor, this is your song. And they love that too, because like they're obviously going to do a cool dance or like they're going to go crazy. It's always pure gold for entertainment purposes.
This is their party piece.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm always like, I'm kind of encouraging that because it gives me a chance to go on the mic without put your hands in there and all that stupid stuff that you guys do. So anyway, I told the bride I was going doing it, and she went outside, I think. I was like, oh, she must be getting her dad. So I was like calling him on the stage and kind of lulling. The track had run out. So there was a little bit of a silence, and I was like chatting away, and we're going to play a song for the bride's dad, and so on and so forth. And this was kind of going on, and there was no sign of the dad coming. And the bride just comes running in, and she was like, no, just play it. And I was like, no, we'll wait for your dad to come, it's no problem, like, don't worry about the silence, and me just kind of acting, she said, no, just play the track. So I played it, and like, I noticed it was people, like bridesmaids in particular, just roaring, laughing, and I was like, it's not that funny, why are they laughing so much? And then the bride kind of comes in, and she was roaring, laughing, and everyone was just laughing, and I was like, why is everyone laughing at me? So the bride comes up to me and she goes, my dad actually passed away a couple of years ago. And I could feel the blood. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna collapse here. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, what? And I was like, she goes, yeah. So her stepdad was at the wedding,
right?
Who was who I thought was the dad.
Ah, okay.
And that's even
so
more
there's loads of
confusing.
curveballs. Okay, so there was.
So I was like, my mind was blown, and I was like, and she was like, I was like, could you not have told me? I think the mic was kind of potentially still on at this stage while the song was being played. But she couldn't talk, she was laughing so much, all the bridesmaids were laughing, and I goes, I'm so sorry.
But it happened at the right crowd. I mean, they were laughing, they thought it was funny.
That's when it went one or two ways.
It was one of the best weddings I've done last
Okay.
year. I don't want to say too much for obvious enough reasons, but like, she was just an unbelievable bride.
Yeah.
Really cool taste of music. It was just one of these special weddings.
You have to laugh at these moments.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Oh no,
But simple things like this is my dad's favourite song.
Yeah.
But just clarify, like, just in memory of. If any hint had been there, like, that he's not about, you could have worked it out. But
in memory of is actually a really good way of putting it. But
if you're like, dad's song, you're like, okay, that's that song.
Maybe there needs to be a new section on your questionnaire, the in memory
I like
of.
that.
I've actually brought in consultations just to make sure is this person going to be at the wedding, just to make sure. But no, it was funny and it went down really well. But like, I thought my gig was over. That's it. I thought I was going to be getting sent home, basically. But yeah.
But at least they found it funny, because like I think I would have laughed too, though, because you do need to just laugh at these moments, because nobody means it in a bad way.
Yeah, big time.
Brilliant, though, Billy. I mean, like, I've called people the wrong
I'm very
names,
professional.
but
I never do anything wrong.
Okay.
Very
And
prepared.
speaking of, she requested one song that her dad really loved. But if a bride and groom would come along and go, this is track 1 and this is track 40. How does that sit with you? Or like, as a DJ, it's like you need flexibility, you need to work the room. How does that work?
Yeah, so absolutely. Again, look, we have to bring it back, right? So it's not the Billy show at the wedding; it's the bride and groom's request. You have to kind of incorporate that in.
You could have the Billy show, though. Yeah. You could do that.
They get the Billy show anyway, whether they like it or not.
Like, this is the Laura and Benny show.
Yeah, exactly. The actual Billy show is the extra, though.
Okay.
So I suppose, look, I kind of have to kind of get a feel for my clients, my couples, to know how much they know about DJing and stuff. Like, obviously some people are really into music and they can be a really good asset, but then you potentially have two people that don't understand the dynamic of a dance floor.
Yeah.
So while I do take their requests as suggestions, my job is still the DJ. Do you know what I mean? The same way a couple telling you what they want and they come up and start fiddling your settings and telling you what to do.
Well, if someone says me a shot list and it's a step-by-step of what I do, I just say, like, we don't accept these shot lists.
So exactly. So I have to feel the energy in the room and the dance floor and kind of deliver the right tracks at the right time. So what I tell them is, I take your point if we might do this. And look, there is some kind of plans that we do accept, but at the end of the day, I'm going for whatever I want to go for. If I want to send it a bit earlier because I feel it's the right time to send it, I'm going to send it. If I want to pull it back a bit because it's getting a bit too messy or whatever's going on. But most couples kind of, like, I suppose I'm at the stage where maybe when I was in my earlier career, when I kind of transitioned from clubs to weddings, I was a bit more kind of like that. I suppose I kind of take it more direction. No, because I'm established. I'm like, okay, look, you're booking me. You've seen the reviews. You've seen the setup.
Yeah.
I'm at this a long time. Just let me do my job.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'll compliment you with your music and we'll do certain things and we'll pre-plan some stuff.
Yeah.
But sitting down in a Zoom consultation, you can't preempt what's going to happen on the night.
Big time. Yeah. And then before we forget, I mean, you're mad into fun stuff. Like, what, it mirrors, there's 360 videos and all that. You do it, or you've access to it?
The 360 thing has taken off, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, like, I have them.
Okay.
And it's more because I never, like, so I keep telling people I want to be known as a DJ. I don't want to be known as Billy with this mirror or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, or I'll offer you 100 things.
Yeah, exactly. I have to do, like,
do you need a horse and cart? I'll bring you to this chapel.
Absolutely.
Do you have a horse outside, Billy?
I actually, do you know what? That gets played quite a bit at weddings.
It's coming back. I think it's coming back. Someone was saying that in Australia, it's actually like become like more of an anthem for guys remembering back to when their college days type things.
It's brilliant.
Great song.
Yeah.
But to answer your question,
mirrors and all that. Yeah.
I think what was happening was I was going doing the gigging, and that was my big thing, was like good DJ, good sound system, good lighting, and that's what I wanted to drive home. But then I had people, we want a selfie mirror, whatever. And I was getting all these requests, and it's like, am I missing something here? Like,
because the other guys were doing it.
Yeah,
is it?
and I see people there. Is like, okay, so what I started doing is I introduced packages where I'll go and do the 360 or the selfie mirror.
Cool.
While the band are on, and then do the DJing after.
That makes sense.
That's nice, yeah.
And I suppose I'm not really doing them, like, unless couples are taking my ones, I'm not really going out to, like, I don't really have much of an interest in driving to whatever.
Yeah, you're not just going to show.
Again, but no, they're really cool. The 360 is lovely, I kind of got cool lights with it, and I do cool angles with the camera.
Nice.
I'm impressed with my angles.
Okay.
We were on the Brooklyn
Hopefully we'll bump into you and we can be like,
But they are cool, like, again, it's what it's about, right, is it's just giving your guests something extra to do, like with
again,
the 360.
it's activities, isn't it?
It's activities,
yeah. It totally is. I know that's not a strange thing to say, like activities.
Adult activities.
Adult activities in a very polite way.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have to.
But the reason in the Las Vegas package, there's an extra Billy show.
But it's a long day for people, and if you can give them adult activities throughout the day.
But it's content creation. The big thing to do is content creation, right? So when with my selfie mirror, they get an album, so people will sign the little messages next to their photos.
Nice.
So the couple get a physical copy of photos. Wouldn't be as good as your stuff now, right? But
but it's different though.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like.
But no, but that's what they are.
Yes.
Those instant printouts. That's what they are. People get.
So they get a physical. So the guests get a physical copy. The couple get a physical copy with a nice little guest book with nice messages, and they get a digital copy.
Yeah.
With the 360, then there's like an online album where they get all the videos back, but they're shared in real time. So like you can have your names. So people are uploading them to TikTok and Instagram straight away.
Yeah.
So you're getting kind of content for your wedding pushed out as well.
And that's what people want as well. Yeah, they're constantly going with the phones.
And it's good, it's clever stuff. And I suppose the reason why the auntie or mother is organising these groups is because they want to mark the occasion. And doing the 360 video, it's a bit of fun, and it's great seeing people who are a little more kind of less kind of aware of what tech can do, and then they see it and then they're laughing their heads off standing in the middle. But they get it and have such fun with it and come up with something clever, don't they?
I'm sure other people are doing it, but I haven't really seen it around it. But I bring a 55-inch screen.
Right.
So the videos are played back instantly on the screen.
Nice.
Oh, the 360?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
That's
very
fair
good.
play.
So a little bit of an extra hustle hauling around extra gear, but it just looks, I'll send you pictures.
Sure, it's not the Karen Tool.
There you go, 360 on Karen Tool.
If you do 360 on Karen Tool, I'm coming, okay?
Pure mist.
Will you carry it up?
Pure mist.
I will carry the
a white background. We could be in anywhere.
Oh my god. Do you know what actually? It's a good business idea. You could be like waiting up there for all the people to come up on a Saturday and charging a $5 a head.
That would be hilarious.
Cash only.
Cash only.
Oh, that's gas. But actually, when you mentioned the screens and stuff, again, like as part of your whole big rig is you were mentioning you're kind of leaning into kind of trying to bring in screens. So I know some lads come in and they'll only use, like if there's a pull down screen in a room, they'll use it if they can or whatever. But you're kind of more into the visual side of it again and using videos.
So I'm actually heading to Sea Church this weekend. They've kindly let me use their video because I do kind of club stuff for them. So I'm going in to show off my new, like it'll be not a patch on what you've seen. Brilliant. I won't ruin it for you, but I'll send you on some photos after.
Sure.
But there'll be different configurations.
Is it like a promo thing you're doing, or is it actual game?
Yeah, it's there'll be nobody there. It's going in setting up different lighting systems, but there'll be 3 flat screen TVs as one of the options, up high, left and right next to my speakers, and one mounted on the front of my boot.
Nice.
And again, that would be for me playing music videos. So like we talked about vinyl and stuff like that earlier, but I'm actually playing MP4s now as well. So you get to see the original video.
I love that.
Which is just pure nostalgia for a lot of people, like stuff you would have seen.
I miss MTV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The remember Top of the Pops, MTV. Remember Ireland Top 40? You used to play 30 seconds of the track.
But that was what we used to watch, and that's what was on TV. Going out on a Saturday night, you'd have MTV on back in the round.
So exactly, but so there's that element too. But then when I'm not playing a music video, it might be just a normal track I don't have an MP4 for. We can cut to things like QR codes where we're sharing photos of the day that guests have uploaded to either Google or there's another company called Taking Place that do what they kind of take care of everything for you, but you can do it yourself as well. I log in and I display them. I video mix them between my software or else the photos. Yeah. It's really impactful.
That's a really good idea.
It's a different perspective. Obviously, you get the real cool stuff, but then you've got every hero with an iPhone.
Photos are hilarious.
Hilariously bad,
No, but they're hilarious in a good way as well. Though. And they can get photos on angles that we can never get to because they can go and sit in certain places I can't, or they're sitting at a table and stuff. But you want all that as well. Like the guests should use 100%, their photos.
And again, it's just. Going back to the visual thing, I think the days of just standing there with 2 speakers and a little light are gone as far as I'm concerned. I think we need to kind of push more into this kind of stuff.
Well, weddings are large events nowadays.
It's the biggest event that they'll ever do, realistically. It's the biggest party they're ever going to plan and do with all your...
And you're never going to spend that much money in one day in your entire life.
So if you can do something to make it special for them,
And mark the occasion.
Yeah, no, I like
100%.
that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's a great idea with the QR codes in the photos. I like that.
Legend.
Yeah. Legend.
Thanks so much for coming in, Billy. Like, this has been unbelievable. Like, the amount of stuff there. And I must say that to you. So, BMG Sound, just in case we confuse people with so many different names.
So sandwich. They're so...
BMG is Sound.
But yeah, no, great to kind of come in and kind of explain people that it's not just a DJ with a laptop, that there's so many options.
Yeah.
It's a production, that's kind of what I'm trying to drive home at the moment. And it's very hard to market that in the Irish wedding market. So I'm relying heavily on Instagram and just trying to push out ads that way, and
but I suppose it's trying to show people as well, like you can describe it all all day long kind of thing. And a whole day DJ you can describe, but like I can probably count in one hand how many times I've actually on Instagram or something actually seen, somebody posting, here's a DJ at my outdoor ceremony. Yeah. Here's a DJ with records in my drinks reception, and here's a DJ doing 5 hours with serious effects and things like that. But like we need to get it on more to show people the options.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm so busy. It's kind of very hard to when you're running your own business.
We totally get it. It's like there's so much I have in my head that I would love to put in the universe, but there's only so many hours in the day.
Exactly.
We're getting there though.
We will.
We're getting there. But thanks for coming in.
You're very welcome.